gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble! This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Montana looking, wrong in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it.
Yes, welcome back to Sports and Sorts. This is episode 185. This is live on a Monday morning, and of course it's around 10-ish. But if you'd like to be notified when we go live, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be notified whenever we go live. And if you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate that as well. And you can find the Sports and Sorts podcast anywhere podcasts are played. All our social media is on our website, which is www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. And of course, I am one of your hosts. My name is Shane Moore.
And I'm the Brian Man.
And if you comment during the show, we will put it on the screen. Whether
Anything you put on that teleprompter.
almost anything.
We will.
Almost anything. We like to try and keep the show a little on the PG-13 side. So, maybe occasional, swear that Brian likes to throw around.
Just say earmuffs. You could say.
You. And of course, that's how we get into sorts stuff. Because then quotes start happening, and then we start talking about older movies, and all that, and then all that stuff happens. But so today, the docket has 0 sorts. We have 0 sorts today. I was actually talking with Damien recently about on Facebook. We were kind of going back and forth a little bit about a particular sort, and that was the DC EU and the MCU, and how he was talking about how MCU just kills it all the time, and I was kind of like, I think they nail it. They knock it out of the park about 60% of the time. 60% of the time, it works every time. And he's and he basically told me that I was in the minority and that I was basically completely wrong. And I disagree. I just think that those films are not great. They just follow a formula that is, it turns into a popcorn flick about 40% of the time. As long as you can just throw out, all of your childhood memories and all the things that you love from the comics and all that kind of stuff. If you really like that stuff, then you're probably going to get annoyed by certain things. If you don't, and you're just there for an enjoying the movie theater, like going to see a Transformers movie, which those have really gone downhill. But Bumblebee apparently was really good.
Bumblebee was tremendous.
Still haven't seen that, but I did watch all the Transformers movies, and the first one was really good. The second one was okay, and then it just kind of really was jumped off a cliff, and it was terrible. But those still make some serious bank, mostly overseas now, but they make serious bank. So that's why they keep getting made, and unfortunately, I can't take it anymore, and I don't see them in the theater. But we kind of got that talking, and we trying to rank overall comic book movies. And I know you and I have done stuff like that in the past, but since we've done it, there's been probably another 6 or 7, 8 films that have been dropped. So it might be something that we want to do again in the future. Maybe give a top 5, top 10, top 4, maybe Mount Rushmore. Who knows? We'll do something. Because, we have had several more DC and Marvel Universe movies dropped. So maybe something to do in the future for a sorts topic. But what we're going to be talking about today, NBA playoffs. We will get into that. We will talk Brooks Koepka winning the PGA Championship, where he's going to, where does this put him as far as a golfer and as a person that might want to make you play golf. Those are two very different things, and I think that he is exceptional at one of those things. But we also are going to talk about briefly the state of the Yankees and how they are now in first place and also crept into the top 3 in the power rankings list, which is something that I would like to talk about just mainly. Well, you know what? Let's get into the state of the Yankees real quick. We don't have a lot to talk about here. It's kind of in that part of the season where it's just game after game after game. It's the grind, right? So we have a very different team than we started off the year, but I want to talk about
The state of the Yankees.
real quick. Let's get into this. We'll talk New York Yankees going in and beating the Tampa Bay Rays 2 out of 3 again, and taking a half-game lead, I believe, over in the East. Red Sox are playing much better. They are close. They are also in the top 7 in the power rankings, I believe, as far as the MLB power rankings. And the Yankees have been playing extremely well, and I think that this is something that both Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman need to take a look at. I think it might be time to either try and figure out a way to trade some of these big bomber bats, or figure out a way to make this work. Because as of right now, the Yankees yesterday, in the 6th inning, great inning, they scored 7 runs, all without hitting a home run. Yeah. That's a big-time stat right there. A couple walks, they had a couple singles, they had a double, a base-clearing double, all with just base hits, walks, and extra base hits, and that was it. No home runs. And that is something that I think that Cashman and Boone both need to sit down. They need to have a small council here, and they need to sit down and figure out how to make this thing work on a regular basis, because as of right now, the team is very well balanced. I don't think this is a great team. This is going to be a team that could get you deep in the playoffs, just because I think you need one more of those guys. You need an Aaron Judge back. You need a Stanton back or something like that in the lineup. Just one. You don't need all of them, though. I think that's when it gets too cluttered, too strikeout heavy, and where you can have there's a lot of rally killers in there with all the strikeout potential. So I think that's a big situation that needs to be talked about between Boone, Cashman, Steinbrenner. All these guys need to sit down and be like, all right, how are we going to keep this team going forward and still have it so that we can get singles and doubles and not just have to worry about the home run, or because that's what happened last year. They'd have these big scoring barrages, but it would only come when you hit a home run. And you can't do that. You just can't do that on a regular basis, especially in the playoffs, and have success, because the pitching gets so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a long-term solution to hit home runs. We've seen enough the last few years to know that home run hitting teams generally don't slug their way to championships in the postseason. It's contact, getting contact,
situational hitting,
timely hits, situational hitting too, and you're seeing a lot more of that this year too. I mean, look at Gio Urshela as an example. I think with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, the guy's like 6 for 11 with 5 or 6 RBIs. That's his game. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Gio Urshela, as far as I'm concerned, cannot be removed from third base until he does something so drastically bad, or he goes into one of the most all-time slumps ever. Because I love watching that guy play. It seems like every at bat he gets a hit. It really does.
Well, I mean, over the last 12 games, he's batting 370.
You look up at every game, he's like 2 for 3, 3 for 4, and it's like, oh my God, who is this guy? And I even remember last week, I think we talked about it, he had one game where he struck out 4 times, but then the 5th time he got up and he got a huge double or something that I think scored the game-winning run or something like that. And then he gets the game-winning hit the other night on Friday night against Tampa. I tell you, he looks like a special young man. Yeah. He really is. And he's part of part of this Yankees identity that I think makes them fun and likable and very watchable. I really want to turn on the Yankee game so I can watch this team, because I'm sorry, but you know what? Payroll aside, well, with all these injuries, they are defying odds right now. This team should not be 11 games over 500.
I wonder what the payroll is that's hurt right now. The injuries. God. I wonder what the payroll is. Oh my God,
it's got to be obscene. It's got to be obscene.
I bet you the people that are hurt, the people that are hurt, I bet you their payroll is higher than a third of the league.
Oh God, God, yeah. That would be fun to put that together. I wonder if our friend Chris Corelli might have that handy.
He probably had that stat somewhere. Yeah,
He probably does. Like how much of the payroll is actually on IL right now?
Yeah, and where does that rank as far as payroll for the league? Because I would imagine it's probably more than the Rays, Giants, Royals. There's probably so many teams that it's just more than. It's just ridiculous.
By the way, I'm proud of myself for saying IL and not DL. So it's becoming part of the nomenclature. But I will tell you though, this team is just so enjoyable. It reminds me so much of 2017, and I hate to say this, but I kind of like if Giancarlo Stanton doesn't come back, I think I'm kind of okay with that. A Judge, on the other hand, you don't want to be without Judge because Judge is he's
an overall player.
He's the face of your team. He's in some ways the face of baseball. Between him, Trout, and Brooks, you're kind of like those are like sort of the faces of baseball kind of guys. I think I think George
Aaron Judge
his way into that conversation too. My man George from UConn.
Aaron Judge. Well, he's got some back issues, and it's been creeping up on him the last couple of years. That's something that we as huge Yankee fans we know with Donnie Baseball. That is something that took a guaranteed Hall of Fame career and totally took it away from him. And that is something that where George Springer is on that kind of pace. He's on that Donnie Baseball kind of pace. And you can, just because of the back, so they really need to make sure that is something that they take it, and really baby it a little bit, because you need to make sure that he's good to go because he's a talent. But as far as Aaron Judge goes, yes, he is one of the faces of baseball, but it's because of his aura, his size, his look.
Sure,
he's such a good dude. He's such a good dude.
Good guy. Yep.
But the dude needs to start staying healthy. He needs to start being healthy for full seasons, and this doesn't. You're talking 3-4 years in a row. Yeah, every year he's hurt, and it's for extended lengths of time. Like that when that first year, his rookie year, he was great for the first half. But then he got injured, and he played through it, and he was nowhere near the same player. He was actually bad. He was a bad player at that point in time. He still got walks, but he was batting like 220. You can't have. He wasn't hitting any home runs. It was just not the same player. He needs to figure out a way to stay healthy, and I don't know how you're going to do that because he's so big. He's got so many muscles. It's just going to be tough. So Trout is big and muscly too. He's been hurt the last couple of years. I don't know what's going on, but these muscle-bound guys got to figure out a way to stay healthy throughout the whole season.
It's the muscle.
I know it is, but they're not going to change their bodies. They're not doing it.
They need to. Well, of course they're not going to, because you know what? These guys get guaranteed money.
Right. Well, they get guaranteed. Not only that, but they don't what are they? They're not going to be able to figure out how to play. They're going to play with a totally different body. They're not going to be able to go and be kind of, not chunky, but they're not going to be able to lose all that muscle and just start, pounding cheeseburgers. They're going to be totally different. It's different.
We've said it before. We talk about guys with perfect baseball bodies, and to me, I would love guys like Christian Yelich, who is kind of thin but sort of wiry, but he's a really flexible, very limber guy. I think baseball needs more bodies like that than Judges and Stantons, because these statuesque guys look great. They make nice magazine covers for Sports Illustrated, but what good are they to the Yankees when they're injured? Right now, Judge and Stanton have been out the majority of this season, and Judge is going to be out past the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think you want people like Anthony Rendon.
I
think
there's
you want
a lot of examples.
I think you want people like DJ LeMahieu.
Mookie Betts. He's got a good.
He's got a good body. Yeah, Mookie Betts has a good body. Even Aaron Hicks, he's got a good baseball body, but he gets hurt all the time. Brett Gardner's jacked. He's jacked. And he's always been healthy. So you obviously can do it.
Doesn't have much gas left in the tank. But
he's done. Yeah, his career is pretty much over. He's not,
still plays hard though, man.
Yeah, no, he's good. He is a good clubhouse guy. Even like Gio Urshela, and you had CeCe Sabathia. He has always been that kind of chunky guy. Yeah. And it wasn't until later on in his career when his knee gave out on him. But
I just want to say, bringing up CC, just another tip of the cap to that guy, because man, oh man, he is Andy Pettit reinvented himself. He really has. He's an older man now, but you know what? And he's not going to give you 8 or 9 innings. But then again, at the end, Pettit wasn't giving you that either. For all you were looking at out of the end was 5 or 6 innings. Yeah. If you got 5 to 6 innings, especially like 6 I think is the sweet spot for CC. Mm-hmm. But if CC could give you 6 innings of like 1-run ball, look at his ERA. Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's not going to get, because he can only pitch 6 innings, he's not going to get, CC, you're not going to get a lot of situations where he's going to factor into the decision, because he's going to probably pitch in a lot of close games, and he's going to probably come out either with a tie or with a slight lead that the Yankees might give back or something like that. But he's, or maybe even down where the Yankees come back. So he may not get a lot of decisions. Like, I wouldn't even be shocked if he doesn't even like get 10 wins. Yeah, I could see him getting like 7 to 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I bet you his ERA this year hovers somewhere in the mid to high 3s. Yeah. Because he just doesn't give up.
He has done something to really extend his career. Yeah.
He shockingly induces a lot of soft contact, which is crazy because he doesn't have the velocity that he has.
He hits the ball really well.
Yeah, he really, and yes, he can locate, and it's kind of fun to watch him pitch. He's just like an old Jedi master. You know?
Still throws like 90 though.
It's like watching Yoda. It's like watching a fatter Yoda.
Still throws 90.
Yeah, he can still hit 90. Yeah. I mean, and again,
occasionally you can see him. Let's see him hit 92 or something like that every once in a while. But it's
very Pettit-like. It's very Pettit-like to me because it just reminds.
Pettit lived to like 88, 89 for like those last couple of years.
He did. Yeah. But location, man, he could just paint the black. You know, I mean, he really. But I'll tell you though, look, right now, I mean, this team is just doing what you want it to do. They're winning series. They're going out and they're winning series.
Yep.
But you know.
7 out of the last 3.
Mariners 3 of 4. You know, Tampa 2 of 3. Tampa again 2 of 3.
They have a very
Minnesota 2 of 3.
And this coming week they have obviously a very good schedule. They're playing the Orioles and the Royals, so they should go and take they should take 80% of those games. I think is it a 4 and a 3?
I don't know
series this week. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But if they are playing 7 games this week, they should probably at least win 5 of those. At least.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah, I mean this is one of those that they really should take 5 or 6 this week. It's just a matter if they play down to their competition. But with this new team, they haven't really been doing that, which is good. I mean they're beating good teams too, which is great.
I will tell you the only thing that concerns me about this season, believe it or not, as strange as this will be to say, is I just hope it doesn't get derailed by guys coming back.
Yeah, like Stanton. Yeah.
And I mean, I hate to play. I really hate to say that about Stanton because I actually don't think Giancarlo Stanton's a bad dude.
No, he seems like a good guy.
But the bottom line is he reminds me so much of A-Rod and what he does at the plate. So he has some curious at bats sometimes. I mean, I don't know if he's guessing.
He's not a hitter. Yeah, well, yeah, he probably is. He's probably a guess hitter.
I mean, it's just
that's what A-Rod was.
And it was funny. Like I kept thinking too. Like when Giancarlo Stanton came to the Yankees, I thought he could be a good fit because I thought, even though he's a righty, his power is so prodigious to every part of the field, and I actually thought he would maybe even excel in Yankee Stadium because of right field. I thought with his power, he could be late on balls and still put him over the fence and right. I never looked at him like A-Rod because I thought, well, I mean, I can understand from a production perspective and, of course, the contract why you would maybe compare the two. But other than that, I always kind of looked at Giancarlo Stanton and I said, you know what, this is a different guy. He's a good dude. He's won an MVP as far as we know without the use of steroids. And it didn't feel like A-Rod to me, like when they got him. But I don't know. Now we've seen him here for a year plus. We've seen him wilt in a postseason. We've seen him get injured, which never helps. I mean, because once you're injured too, you just can't do anything until you get back to flip the narrative. You know, the script can't be flipped until you get off IL and you start hitting. And I don't know, but there's still a part of me that doesn't want him back. Judge, absolutely, I want back. Yeah. I'm not going to be silly and say, oh yeah, this team could just keep doing this. Who needs Judge? Who needs Stanton? We need Judge back. Yeah. But Stanton, I mean, it's kind of like Andujar's gone for the season, and I'm kind of like, I don't care. We got Gio. I mean, and look, is Gio going to do this all year? No, we know he's not going to. But you know what? Because there will be a market correction for sure. But you know what? That guy's fun to watch. He's got some heart. He's got clutch in him. He's clearly got the clutch gene in him. And I'm trying to. Do you know how old Gio is? I'm just wondering. Like, is this like a really young guy? Like,
he's 28.
Is he that old? Okay. Yeah.
Born in 91.
Born in that. Okay. So
he's gonna be 28. He's 27 right now.
Yeah. I just all right. So he's 27. I mean, but who knows? I mean, who really knows what he will be and what you're really going to get from him long term? I mean, this could be a 1-year thing, but he's fun to watch. To me, like right now, watching this team, and who would have thunk we would have said this a month and a half ago when the baseball season started, that you look at a guy like Gio Urshela and he is actually like, him and DJ LeMahieu are like the identities of this team. Yeah. And that's mostly been because of injury, but I think going back to the beginning to get to your broader overall point, it's just very obvious that you do not need to hit home runs to win baseball games. And in the postseason, the one thing, I'll tell you what, I know that this team, probably the way it is right now, is probably not built to go deep into a postseason. Mm-hmm. But I do bet you they'd get further than they got last year, just because they hit more to contact. They're more of a contact team. They still can they can still walk.
Yeah.
They're still smart defensively. I think they're better than they were last year, especially with guys like LeMahieu, and Gio's good too in the infield.
DJ LeMahieu batting like 310. Gio batting like 350.
It's great. I mean, it's
Torres batting about 300.
Yeah, Glaber's had a good year too. He really has, and Glaber has also shown you a little bit of that clutch ability.
Yeah, it's about on the ball.
So, I mean, it's just a more fun team. Like, I enjoy watching this team, and I think that's going to change a little when Stanton comes back. Once he comes back and starts striking out again in big spots, I'm going to lose my mind. I know it. There's going to be some Bryman rants, I can tell you right now.
All right. Well, let's get on to the next topic here. We will touch on golf, basketball. I think we're going to go with... Get in the hole! So, Brooks Koepka wins another PGA Championship. He has won 4 out of his 8 majors, which is... It's not unprecedented, but it's pretty darn good. Spieth, I think, won 3 out of 11. Someone like Rory, I think he won 4 out of like 17 or something like that. He's in a good league right now, where he's in the elite golfer league, where you have 4 or more majors.
One behind Phil.
I know, it's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
So, and the problem is here with Brooks is, yes, he showed a little emotion. He got a little rage monster at the end of the tournament, where he made the putt, gave the fist pump, said bleep yeah, and was excited. Now,
for him,
I think he was forcing the issue a little bit. I mean, this is obviously just what I was watching. I was kind of like, I think he's also angry because he obviously has come out many a times and talked about how I don't get the attention that I deserve. Well, nobody wants to talk to you because you're boring. Like, that's the reason why you don't get any attention. Like, Dustin Johnson, he has a lot of, he has demons in his past that people like to talk about. He has collapses that he's had. It makes him an interesting character. Jordan Spieth was this young talent who came out of nowhere, started winning tourney. And he is a little annoying, but he has intricacies to his game, and he's personable, and he's giving tours to the PGA, whatever it is, the golf magazine or whatever, giving tours of his house and showing the awesome golf simulator he has in there and all that stuff. He is more, and he's not that interesting. He's not that interesting of a character, but he's more interesting. Rory comes out and does all these, he fights with people on Twitter, and he says all these negative things, and how great he is, and all that kind of stuff. He makes him an interesting character. Tiger, fist pumps, screaming, off the field, off the course antics that he's had in the past. Just in general, like this huge talent, just winning major after major. Like every year, he's winning at least one. And he had so many talents. Jack Nicklaus, he was his awesome talent who was just so great throughout his whole career. And like, even with that nickname, the Golden Bear, and like people going head to head, yeah, he was. And not only did he win a ton, he was also in the top 3, like even more. Like that's how, and he was always in contention, always keeping himself in contention. Brooks Koepka, he's a talented dude. He can play multiple instruments. Like he's a musician. He's a good-looking guy. He's built like a house. But he's so boring. He needs to figure out a way to kind of just. If that's his personality, fine. But you can't be angry when people aren't paying attention. Yeah. You're this white dude who's built like a Greek god. Not many people can relate to you.
I thought it was funny yesterday too. He was getting ready to play, and the girlfriend went to kiss him, and she's like, nope. She had to he was like having none of that. I mean, he kissed her afterwards.
Yeah.
But
that's ridiculous.
I mean, it was just
ridiculous.
Yeah. On whose part? His or hers? For trying to do it before?
No, his. That's ridiculous.
You know what sucked about yesterday too? Was
no, I tell you what's awesome. You got to follow Phil Mickelson on Instagram. The dude is hilarious. Like as he's going in, he's talking about
extremely funny.
He's like got his hands on the steering wheel, and you see his thumbs going up and down, and he's talking about how he's gonna break the record for the most thumbs up in a round. And he's like, yep, I'm aiming for this many. I'm going to get this many. I'm going to give this many thumbs up today. And then afterwards, they talked to him about it after his round. And he was like, and he could tell he's kind of like, they're bringing up my Instagram stuff. And he's like, and we heard that you broke a record today. And he's like, yeah, I broke it. I gave 1,137 thumbs up. Broke the old record of 893, and and he's like, because of that, it really made my game suffer. And he's like, I'm just kidding. Had nothing to do with that at all.
Yeah, because his game was bad because he was 20 shots off of the leader. So
yeah, well, I mean that's. I would the guy that I was really kind of. So end of the round, I wanted to see what his overall score was going to be because I wasn't paying that close of attention to him. Was the guy that was playing with Brooks, and that was the guy who shot 11 over on his final round. I think his last name's Heron Jr., something like that. No, Varner Jr., Varner the third. That's what it is. Shoots 11 over. He was 5 under to start the day. Finished 6 over. Ugh.
That's a pretty significant collapse, too, because even though he was 7 shots back going into the final round, he would have won if he had just had an average day, because Koepka was not good yesterday. No. He was 4 over.
4 over. And Johnson Johnson also collapsed in the last few holes and couldn't keep the pressure on to kind of to help him out. Because there was a situation, I think it was on 17, where he, in his backswing, somebody yelled. And he ended up having an Aaron tee shot. And they made some comments about it and all that, but that's something right there. That ticks me off a little bit. I mean, just because, and I'm all for, cheering on the golf course if it's something that is accepted, but you can't do that. Not in that kind of contention. Even if you think doesn't have a chance, if he birdied that hole, now he's 7 under instead of 6. That puts a little bit more pressure on Brooks to get the job done. But yeah, go ahead.
And that's what I was going to say about what sucked about yesterday too. Is Koepka didn't even have like a good first round. He held on. He had a big lead going into the day. And basically, he wrapped it up on Saturday. It was over on Saturday. I remember texting you on Saturday when he had like a 7-stroke lead. And I was like, well, I guess Brooks is going to win another one.
Yeah.
This guy is. At first. After the first couple majors that he won, which I think was a U.S. Open and a PGA Championship, because those are the two.
We even had the Jaman Hansu quote from Guardians of the Galaxy. Who?
Yeah, it's and it's kind of a weird thing. He is very quickly putting himself in the rarefied air discussion. The guy in 2 years has racked up 4 majors. I mean, some guys work their whole lives just to get one. Sergio Garcia has been playing this game forever, and he's got one. Brooks Koepka has had now 4 in the last 2 years. He came in second at this year's Masters behind Tiger. I mean, the guy is an exceptional golfer. I mean, his game is rock solid. And even though he didn't play well yesterday, he is a very, like, I watched him a lot at the Masters because I was so glued to the Masters because of Tiger. And so I watched him even more than I usually do. Watched him a lot at the Masters, and I've watched him at the end of these major tournaments that he's won. And the guy is very unflappable. He does not get rattled. He really hits big shot after big shot. He's rock solid. And I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain. I'm actually trying to think of like an athlete that he reminds me of, a guy who's won a lot, but maybe from a personality perspective isn't exactly an A+. But I can't, like, I honestly can't think of a guy right now. I'm just
Timmy Duncan?
No way. Because Tim
fundamentally sound and didn't have a personality.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. You know, look, you can't just. I think a lot of Spurs get that label just because of where they are and the fact that basketball is, you know, such a. It's you know.
I wouldn't say that about Tony Parker or Ginobili or. They
were literally called the Quiet Dynasty. Now I can't do that. I can't put him even. You know what the problem is? I can't even put him in that territory yet. I know he's won 4 majors and Tim Duncan won 5 championships, but those things are not quite comparable. You know, 1 major is not equal to winning like 1 NBA title, and I wouldn't quite put it there. I understand where you're going, but that's not quite where
on the court he was not. He didn't have a personality on the court.
You know what?
It was off the court where he had a little bit more of a personality.
He did. No, he did. He had.
And it's the same thing with Brooks Koepka. I mean, Brooks Koepka has talents off the court. He doesn't have necessarily a great personality off the court.
I just hope. Here's what I hope. And I don't want the guy to change. If this is who he is, this is who he is.
Yeah, be who you are, but don't be mad if people don't embrace you.
Well, but okay, I'll say that's fine too. But the flip side of that is for fans, spectators going to watch him. Don't underappreciate what you're seeing here, because this is still what you're seeing is still pretty special. I mean, this is a guy
if he wins 7 majors, he's going to get embraced, but he's going to have to become extremely dominant for a longer period than 4 years.
Yeah, I'm just, right. It's still early. I mean, it really is still early, but he's a young man and he's already won 4 of these things, and I'm sorry, there's no way he's not winning more. I mean, this guy's going to I don't know where. Again, it's so early, it's hard to say. Like, he could have a massive drop-off and fall off the face of the earth. That doesn't seem likely. But I could also...
Golf is strange like that, though. I mean, Jordan Spieth won 3 out of 11, and then...
He's really...
I think he's won 1, but like, he's still, it's like... I mean,
with Jordan Spieth,
you can lose it. You lose your putting stroke, you're screwed for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened to Ernie Els. Ernie Els lost his putting stroke, and he was screwed for a long time. Like, and you can really, really kind of get messed up just having one little aspect of your game.
And then the game becomes very mental too, because you really get
and then you get in your own head.
I mean, golf is the ultimate humbling sport. But I'll tell you what, it's tough because I'm with you on the personality thing. He is, generally speaking, the boring guy. I mean, which is weird, too, because he's got, like, everything else. I mean, look at him. Just looking at him.
He's a handsome guy. He's built.
Dude, built.
Great
hot
athlete.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Incredible athlete. He's a winner. Clearly a winner. Clearly again, yesterday wasn't great, but he built such a big lead on Saturday. He put it away on Saturday, and there's actually something to be said for that. Yeah. Because most major tournaments are not put away on the 3rd day. Yeah. This one was. We all knew it was over.
Wow.
But there is something missing. There is a piece that's missing. There is I don't want to call it an it factor.
No, it's an it factor. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have that it factor. Like,
well, he's got some kind of it factor. He's a winner. So, I mean, something he's got.
You need to be more than a winner.
Maybe there needs to be a story of some kind that comes out about him. No, hopefully nothing bad.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? If he wants to go out and start being charitable, like, have that be your thing. Like, but you don't hear anything, like anything at all. There's nothing about him.
Maybe he'll just be this boring guy who wins 10 or 12 majors.
He needs these PGA, like they need to do the John Sterling here. They need to come out and they need to, like, the PGA Tour needs to embrace him, give him a nickname, do some things to build him up in order to kind of have some people rally around him. Because right now he's not doing anything for himself, which isn't doing anything for your sport. Like, nobody's going to want to go see a boring guy play a boring sport. I mean, it's a 5-hour round where you hit the ball, you take a shot, and then 8 minutes later you hit another shot. Like, it's not the most exciting sport to watch, especially live. You know, like when you're there. On TV, it's better because they keep bouncing around between different players, but maybe he's Roger Federer a little bit. Yeah, I was going to say Roger Federer. I mean, even Pete Sampras, but Pete Sampras got a little whiny at times.
Federer's never been whiny. Federer's just rock solid.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
quiet. Yeah.
But again, it's hard to put him in that category either.
Yeah, he's not there.
That guy's
but it's
Roger Federer is the greatest tennis player.
But maybe but Roger Federer in his first 4 or 5 years in tennis, they might.
Yeah, but Roger Federer when he was younger though had some very emotional celebrations.
Yeah, I mean, you can embrace him a little bit. I don't know.
Right. This is a different. And maybe, you know what? Maybe this is his thing. Maybe this is what separates him. He's so uniquely boring. Maybe that will become something that maybe we'll just say, you know what, this guy was, because we want so many different things from our athletes. We want them to be this, this, and this. We want them to check all the boxes. But maybe Brooks Koepka's just never going to check that personality box. Maybe he's just going to be a guy that's solid and wins and wins and wins, and we won't appreciate him the way we should have until after his career is over. I hope that's not what happens. But that could be the legacy.
Or maybe this little Rage Monster episode that happened at the end of the PGA Championship, where he gave the fist, the hard fist bump and all that, maybe.
And he says, bleep, yeah. Well, maybe he's got a potty mouth, and that could be his thing. That'd be great, because I would embrace that.
Yeah, I liked how they afterwards, they showed it first, and he's like, gets all angry. And then they go and they show him give the fist pump again. And then after, because they're doing it in slow motion, he starts going, and, they just cut away to something else. They're like, yeah, we can't.
Maybe he'll be like a diva wide receiver, he doesn't feel like he's getting the respect he deserves, so he's just going to kind of, that's going to be his thing. He'll be the guy. Yeah, he'll be the guy with the chip on his shoulder. He'll be the guy with the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens to him.
Except the problem is, those last two receivers you mentioned haven't won anything.
Yeah.
T.O. never won anything.
He got there a few
Odell
times.
Beckham has it.
It wasn't his fault, though.
This guy's got 4 major championships under his belt.
Played a finals, the Super Bowl with a broken leg and put up some serious numbers.
He did. He did. I mean, look, all I can tell you with Brooks Koepka is that we are definitely
But there was personality with those guys, though. Serious personality with those guys.
Sure. Yeah. I think the one thing we can say about Koepka is, look, we're seeing something special. We want more. And
we're seeing something special. We just don't know if we want to see it.
Yeah, I guess we want more because we want to see if there's going to be something else that unravels from this story. But again, maybe this will just be his identity. He'll be the boring guy who wins a lot. And you know what? That will be maybe uniquely his, because there's not a lot of guys who have won a ton and don't have some kind of personality or something,
Yeah. All right, let's move on. NBA playoffs. The NBA on TNT and ABC and ESPN.
And Fox and CBS and ABC. Did you already say ABC?
I did, yes. ABC, TNT, and ESPN. That's right.
And TNT.
All right, so
I once bit a woman.
So the Warriors. This is disappointing. I was hoping that the Portland Trailblazers were going to come home and step up, and the guards that they have, McCollum and Lillard, were going to step up, play at home, play well. Unfortunately, Lillard has a little bit of an injury, a little nagging injury that's kind of bothering him. I don't know if it's his groin or his hammy, but something's a little bothersome, and he's been playing with that. It's a little difficult. The problem is Kevin Durant went down. Steph Curry has come back and played like he used to and is raining buckets left and right, scoring 30 points every game. And on top of that, I will give a little credit to Draymond Green, who has been coming up and playing, that old school Draymond Green style, like running the point sometimes, getting a lot of assists, rebounds, and, just basically almost doing a triple-double every game. Like, that's just what he's been doing. And then Klay Thompson, of course, is raining in buckets as well. The guard play between Steph Curry and with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and then Lillard and McCollum, obviously much better on the Golden State side. The Trailblazers had a lead of 13, 15 points or something like that. They scored 66 points in the first half. They scored 33 points the rest of the game. That is something you cannot do. It's like they weren't even there in the second half. And I don't know what happened to the play, but it was obvious that the Warriors were a better team. Very obvious at that point in time, because they always come out. The Warriors are known for that third quarter barrage of points that they score, and you have to be able to absorb that. The Portland Trailblazers kind of absorbed it because they didn't really give up the lead that much. It was a round tie at that point in time. But then the fourth quarter came, and they just kind of let the Warriors keep on going, and they just kind of took that punch, and they didn't really get up off of the mat. So that's really unfortunate, and I think it's the main reason is when you play this team, particularly when Kevin Durant's not there, you got to be more physical. This is a team that you need to beat up on Curry a little bit. You need to beat up on Klay a bit and make them uncomfortable. Draymond doesn't care. You're going to bounce him around. He doesn't really mind that much. He actually likes it. But they need to get physical, and it's just they don't have it right now. So it's unfortunate there. And then you have the Raptors and the Bucks, where Kawhi. I'm nervous. Like I'm nervous that the Raptors are going to get past the Bucks somehow because they figured out a way to double team Giannis a little bit. And Giannis scored 12 points last game, 12 points, and fouled out of the game.
Yeah,
and that was with Kawhi with a hurt quad who couldn't jump and still rained buckets, scored points, got the Raptors a win. And I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous that the Raptors are going to get by them, and then they're just going to get absolutely destroyed against the Warriors in the finals. Because as of right now, the finals are looking horrid. Absolutely horrible.
Well, I guess no. I wouldn't say they're looking horrid. I would say you're going to have the two best teams playing each other, which is what you want. The problem is the gap between the best team and the second best team may be very big. And that's where I think you're getting the horrid from. But ultimately, record-wise, not even. The Bucks had the best record in the league. The Golden State did actually not have they didn't even have the second best record in the league. But we all know going in who the best team is. It's Golden State, and they're going to win. They're going to win this. They're going to win another championship. Yep. They're going to probably do most of it without Durant, at least in the postseason. And they're going to do it with relative ease. What sucks about, let's just take this one series at a time. This Portland series is very disappointing. I thought Portland would put up a fight. In the regular season, these teams only finished 4 games apart. They were, they were relatively close. But this series is just showing you this was a bad matchup for the Blazers all around. And without Durant, this is impressive. For them to go on the road and having to win, they're the road warriors, man. They really are. It doesn't matter. And they love this. They are enjoying so much this challenge of playing without a guy who has arguably been their best player, or at least their most prolific scorer. For the last 2 years, they are embracing this. They love it because Steph Curry looks like Steph Curry again, and they're just playing like the
as of right now, he's going to win the MVP, the Western Conference Finals MVP. He's winning it.
I would say so. They're going to they're going to barrel their way to probably another championship, which would be would this be their 4th in 5 years? It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. That is true dynasty stuff. And what's funny about it is this Warriors team reminds me so much of what ended up being the last installment of the Yankees dynasty team, which was in 2000. Because if you recall about 2000, the Yankees, I think only in their regular season, only won like 87 games. It was a very lackluster regular season. They really slogged through the end. They had a pretty commanding division lead going into like the last month. They played really bad. Like they were awful. Now, Golden State was never awful this year. They were always good. But you could see that it just felt like something was missing this year. You know, they weren't quite as dominant. They seemed more vulnerable. They seemed more right.
Well, they seem like they're like, you know what? Let's just get ready for the playoffs. Like,
but then, just like those Yankees did in 2000, when the calendar turned to October, and for this team, when the calendar turned to April and May, the switch went on. And all of a sudden, you saw that. And this is why, and it's a stupid cliche, we never like hearing it because it sounds hokey, but there is something to be said about the heart of a champion. There just is. When you have been there and done that before, that means you have the experience to go back and do it again. And Golden State is showing us, like all great champions, you can even take away one of our biggest pieces, and we are still going to do it to you. And mentally, what that has to do to a team like the Blazers, look, if the Blazers get swept, I mean, I hope they show a little bit of something and just make it, at least force it back to Golden State. You know, make Golden State, make everybody make the plane trip, you know, again. But I've seen no indication in this series at all that Golden State is going to be pushed in this fourth game. And they are a favorite. They're already a 3.5-point favorite. Yeah. Now, Bucks and Raptors, I still think the Bucks are going to win this series. The only thing I will counter to what you said there is that, Kawhi is hurt, and yes, they held Giannis in check, and that may be why they won. It still took them 2 overtimes to beat the Bucks, though. I still think Milwaukee might steal game
and then put it away.
No, he's not. You know what? He's not that injured. He's obviously okay.
He's limping around all over the place. Like,
I know, but he's still
playing great defense. He can't. Like, he is having a hard time getting any kind of lift.
But he had another clutch performance though.
He missed a lot of big shots towards the end of the game.
No, but he helped them a lot in the OT. But
I mean, just defensively, and he had a bunch of runaway dunks.
None of this crap surprises me. I saw this guy do this for years in San Antonio and in the postseason. So nothing I'm seeing out of Kawhi Leonard is shocking me at all.
Right.
Going back to what I think will be a likely finals match between Milwaukee and Golden State is, look, I do think they're the 2 best teams, but I do think that the gap between 1 and 2 is big, and I could see that series not getting maybe 5. 6 would be really impressive if the Bucks can force 6.
See,
that's just how it's looking right now.
The thing is that Giannis needs help, and he needs Brook Lopez to be really good. He needs
Brook Lopez to be the Brook Lopez we saw a few nights ago, but he needs him to do that every night.
To really step up and be those secondary, role players that actually can put some points on the board. He needs one of those guys to score 25 points, and if they can do that, then they have a chance to stay with the Warriors because I will say, between Middleton and Bledsoe, those are 2 guys that are going to put some serious pressure on Klay and Steph. They are going, and then you're going to have Giannis possibly guarding Durant. That is a good matchup. And then you have Brook Lopez, who's going to be in there against Draymond Green. I mean, there's a good matchup there. I just don't know if they have. I don't know if it's the coaching or what, but there's just something there's something there that's missing for me. That means I'm like. No, the Warriors are just going to rain buckets on them, and they're just going to destroy them. Like, I don't know why, but I really want the Bucks to do it. I want to see Giannis do it. He's such a likable character that I want to see them step through and take the Milwaukee Bucks, the obscure Bucks, and win a Finals championship.
That'd be great. That would be a tremendous story for basketball, especially them knocking off this dynastic team that we've. They
have the ability, but they need one of those guys to score. And as of right now, it's not consistent enough. Especially if Giannis is going to put up 12 points in a game. I mean, he had 23 boards, but I mean, he needs to put up he needs to put up more points. He needs to consistently score 28 plus.
This is just so much reminding me of the 2000 Yankees. It's like identical. It's like watching the same thing. Just a little different, but honestly, I think the result is going to be the same because I'd have a really hard time making the argument that one of either Toronto or Milwaukee is going to be able to knock this team off its throne. I just don't see. You have to beat them 4 times out of 7. The math is just not there.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen. Not this year. And maybe not next year. Who knows? I mean, even if Durant is gone and he's in New York, which, by the way, I am very much looking forward to our off-season predictions show whenever that happens.
For what?
Because for the NBA.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I think there's going to be some fun movement this offseason.
Oh, it's going to be fun, yeah.
There is one wish I have. One wish. I just don't want Kawhi Leonard to go to the Lakers. And it's not because I'm worried about the Lakers being great with LeBron and Kawhi. I want Kawhi Leonard to forge his own identity. What I'd love to see him do is stay in Toronto because he seems to be having a good time, and I think this team likes him a lot, and I think the city has absolutely embraced him. Canada has been waiting for a basketball hero like this.
Kawhi, if he moves the Lakers, he's going to win a couple championships with LeBron. And then,
I don't know if that's true.
Oh.
You know what? I tell you what. I think some of the luster is starting to come off of LeBron a little bit. I really do. I really think that.
That's because his team played poorly this year and he got injured.
Well, hey, the bottom line is he didn't make the playoffs. And he didn't 8 teams make the playoffs in each conference, and he was not one of them. And he wasn't really even close. So he's on a bad team.
He was hurt.
And I think guys are maybe starting to say, you know what? Here's the other thing with LeBron. Teaming up with him, your window is short. He does not have that many years left.
Right.
I would say
which that means then you can take over as the lead person. So like you can transition.
I suppose. I just don't want Kawhi to. I don't want Kawhi to even remotely be.
I don't even think he's interested in it. Though,
he doesn't need to be Robin to Batman because he's Batman. So
I think he would be Batman. I think he would be Batman. I think LeBron would take a back seat.
I mean, if LeBron would defer to him, like Robinson did to Duncan, then okay.
I mean, as of right now, Kawhi Leonard is on par, if not better than LeBron.
You know what? If it depends on what LeBron thinks he is at this point.
Oh, I think he knows. I think he knows that he can be the best player in the league, but it's going to take a toll on his body because he's getting older. So I think he's willing to take a bit of a backseat on most games, especially in the regular season. And then when it comes down to playoff time, let's run the show, and we will both just dominate.
They still need more. I mean, the two of them, it's not enough. The NBA has proven one thing in the past few years is that you need not just 5 solid starters, but you need role players off that bench. Spurs won 5 championships. A lot of them came because of contributions from guys named Patty Mills and Danny Green. It's just the way it is. you tuned out. Well, in that case, I might as well hit you with the sign-off. We've come to the end of our program, and in the words of the immortal Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. So, thanks for joining us. Good Monday show.
Yeah, thank you.
See you after Saturday, and stay classy.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching, listening, however you took it in. We really appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter at @EinhornSminkle.
Find me on Twitter at _Bry_man. Follow me, please. I am desperate for attention.
You can find all our other social media on our website, which is www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. And
Libsyn.
Libsyn. Yes, exactly. .com. And all our social media is there. You can find all the old podcasts, everything like that. You can also find us on YouTube, Sports and Sorts. And click that subscribe button, notification bell, like the video, do stuff like that. Be cool. Peace out. See you guys soon. Bye. Love you 3000.
Love you 3000. There you go.
I want a cheeseburger.
Who doesn't? They're good.
Cheeseburger.
Why not?